This is Casting Actors Cast, the podcast for actors from a casting director. That's me, Jeffrey Dreisbach. And today we're going to be doing another self-tape review. An actor tape review on today's episode of Casting Actors Cast. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Casting Actors Cast. How are you? I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach. I'm a casting director with McCorkle Casting in New York. Hope you're having a good day. So today this is an actor video review. You know, the popularity of these has just been like crazy town. And so I thought it would really be a great idea to take yet another. I'm getting submissions all the time. And so I find this to be not only fun, but I think it's educational as well, because we can point out those things that I get when you submit your self-tape videos. And as I've said in many episodes, these self-tape submissions are not going away. So wouldn't it be a good idea to perfect your technical and your acting skills when using the self-tape environment, whether you're recording on Zoom or whether you're recording on your cell phone? Knowing how to do it really well can make a big difference in the kind of attention you get from your acting work. But first, this is that moment of the podcast where I just simply get to say thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an honor and a privilege to bring these episodes to you. And I want to encourage you to check out the website, castingactorscast, all one word, .com. There's also on that website some freebies for you. There's a form that says dive into the talent pool. And if you do that, you can have access to a free downloadable PDF book all about doing voiceover work. So if you're interested in voiceover work, why not start out with a free 100-page PDF on how to do it called Conversation Pieces Out of the Studio, the voiceover workshop for professional actors. Additionally, on that same, by filling out that form that says dive into the talent pool, all you need to do is just fill that out. And by the way, I've said this many times and I really mean it. I don't do anything with that additional information you share with me. I don't spam you with all kinds of nonsense. I might on occasion talk about some upcoming event or something like that, but it is on a very sparing basis. I don't want to subject you to more stuff that you're getting, right? We're all just so inundated with stuff. That's not my intention. But my intention is to perhaps continue to grow a like-minded community of actors who are connecting with each other, getting together, learning and growing so we can make this a better place for everybody. That's my only purpose in doing all of this. So going to the website, castingactorscast, all one word, .com, and that's going to get you access to another video, for example, called Casting Director Secrets, What They Don't Want You to Know. And so it's a 20-minute free video, but it's a private video that you only get access to that video by going to that site. Now, also, I want to share, and this is kind of cool, that if you want your self-tape to be evaluated, the email address couldn't be easier. It's castingactorscast@gmail.com. How simple is that? And I think that kind of covers everything. Also, I'm going to take a moment here to put my sponsorship shout out. And this is to those folks who have really made Casting Actors Cast popular by putting and promoting the podcast on their websites. So we have a cross-promotional sponsorship that we want to share with you right now. So stay tuned for that. This episode of Casting Actors Cast would not be possible without the following cross-promotional shout-outs. Actors Connection. Please do yourself a favor and check out Actors Connection. They provide classes, seminars, workshops with working industry professionals to help you advance your acting career. Go to actorsconnection.com/New York for their current calendar of amazing classes, workshops, and events. WeAudition.com. WeAudition.com is the video chat community to audition, self-tape, rehearse, and get expert industry advice. Find a rehearsal or self-tape partner instantly. Earn money for rehearsing with other actors. And as a special incentive to Casting Actors Cast listeners, you will receive 25% off membership using the code CAC25. That's CAC25 for a membership discount. YIaudition.com. Now, other places in addition to the ones I've just mentioned that I am teaching at include the Growing Studio and T. Schreiber Studio, so I ask you to go ahead and please visit their websites as well and check out the schedule at castingactorscast.com/classes workshops. And I hope that we can work together soon. Great. Thank you so much for that. And listen, I couldn't be more grateful that you're here. The podcast is just continuing to grow. I get the most wonderful comments and letters and memes from people, and it's been really so gratifying and so much fun. And so I invite you to please, if you've gotten anything out of any of these podcasts, it would mean so much to me if you could leave a review, if you could subscribe wherever you're getting your podcast, if you could do a thumbs up, if you could go to the YouTube, because I'm doing the simulcast. I'm actually simulcasting the podcast on YouTube. We're calling those podios. So if you want to see me do this, and this is especially useful, I think, if you're going to be going and checking out self-tape submissions like I'm reviewing today, for example, that you might want to take a look at the actor's actual self-tape to see what I'm talking about. On the other hand, if you're just listening on the podcast, I think that you're going to still get really good, insightful information, especially because I'm giving you this kind of spontaneous, off-the-cuff reaction to what I'm experiencing with your work. So to me, that's really a cool way that you can learn how to be better at doing this. And you know what? It is making a huge difference. We are working on several feature films right now, and I can't tell you the amount of times I'm just wishing that that actor would take a little bit more time with their lighting, for example, or their sound, for example, some of those technical things. But additionally, I see actors struggling with making really succinct and clear choices. And you know, if you haven't had a lot of experience doing film and television work, then the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to become. So as we look at the self-tape, and this is YI QING ZHAO. I think I'm saying that correctly. Please forgive me if I'm not. And this is her work. It's a 1 or 2 minute audition, I think. And I'll come back. I'm going to give some notes based on exactly what I'm experiencing. And let's just do this. All right, I'm ready. Okay, here we go.
YI QING ZHAO, 5'5", located in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Hi, can I help you?
Hi! I saw that your window display has the quote, "Well-behaved women seldom make history," and you attribute it to Marilyn Monroe, but in fact, it was coined by historian Laurel Fletcher Ulrich.
Really?
Yes, it's a fascinating story. So, she was writing an essay about the ministerial literature of the Puritan era, and you walked away. You know, she is an amazing woman.
Well, I haven't heard of her.
Trust me, she's like super famous. She can't even walk down the streets without being mocked in college towns by feminist academics. So anyway, your window display is misattributed, and I think you should change it.
Thank you so much for coming in and pointing that out.
That was sarcastic?
No.
Oh, that was sarcastic.
Yes.
You know, people are never as grateful as I think they'll be when I correct their mistakes. Look, I'll get out of your very shiny hair if you just promise me you'll change the display.
Okay, fine. We'll change it.
That wasn't so hard, was it? Thank you. You know what? It's really driving me crazy, so how about you just change it right now?
Are you serious?
I'm kind of always so serious. Sort of my thing.
Are you going to buy anything?
Definitely not.
You need to leave.
Well-behaved women seldom make history.
I'm calling security.
Have a nice day. Bye.
YI QING ZHAO. Yeah, I just said that. I said that correctly. I had to make sure I heard it correctly. Thank you so much for bringing that in, showing us your work. It means a lot to me, and you're helping a lot of other people, YI QING. And so let's talk a little bit about the experience of this particular audition. And I'd like to do it the following way. And I like to do this, especially when I'm teaching classes about this, but I think the format of this is really helpful as well. And I'd like to split it up to technical things first, things that I see technically that I believe might see some improvement, might get a little bit better. The next thing, the next category or the next part of that will be the acting work. Are there acting moments that I'm seeing that you're taking advantage of that perhaps you could make better? And also, what is really working for you? Because I firmly believe that not just criticizing or critiquing, but telling you what is working for you is equally important. So please give everything I say equal weight and value. Nothing drives me crazier than 5 nice things that I'm seeing, and then the one thing I critique is the thing that the actor spends the most time on. Please, you must be very good to yourself. And like I said, give everything equal weight and value. You're going to find that to be a much more useful experience overall. So let's talk a little bit technically first. For those of you who are just hearing this, it was really kind of interesting that she held up a card with the name of where she's from. In New Jersey. And so she literally held up a piece of paper with it printed out. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And it didn't bother me necessarily, but let me tell you the importance of a slate and spending a little bit of extra time when you can add text to your video. When you do that and provide the information on your video screen rather than holding it up, I think it's just simply a much more professional feeling presentation. Like I said, there's nothing inherently wrong with what you did, but if you had given me a graphic, you could have provided that information. Also, on a slate, the pronunciation of your name, which was really clear and very, very well done, any other additional information you might want to include as text on your video. One of those might be height. I ask for height almost all the time in auditions and in self-submit videos because that's one thing I can't discern from your audition. So letting me know how tall you are. Also, don't forget that the slate is really a great opportunity to give me a little bit more information about you and your personality. So a nice smile, being very, very comfortable in front of the camera, just looking directly into the lens and introducing yourself as if you are meeting somebody for the first time. That can generate a lot of really good, strong energy that will keep me interested in watching you. So that's why I think a slate could be a little bit more friendly, and it also gives me access, or better said, I think just more information about who you are. So be careful not to miss out on some of those opportunities. Now, technically, I want to talk to you a little bit about the sound. So the sounds came across a little bit harsh, partly, I believe, due to the space that you were in. And partly due to the space that you were in, meaning that there was just a lot of sound bouncing off the walls. Additionally, you would benefit from a lavalier microphone, which is one of those little tiny microphones that you can pin on your lapel, and you plug it into your device, and the sound quality is extra good. I will also say that the sound was a little bit of an issue because I could hear the reader really well and really clearly. So I don't know what that particular technical arrangement was. I don't know if the reader was coming from another location. I'm not sure. I kind of suspect that. But the fact that the reader came in more clear than you did really leads me to let you know that it's important that you come in as clear as you possibly can. It's much, much better if you and the reader sound like you are in the same space. Now, I don't mean you have to do that literally. I just mean in terms of the quality of the sound. So a lavalier mic, I think, might go a long way to really, really help. The reader was very, very loud and clear. I thought the lighting and the backdrop were excellent. Really, really good choices. I like the fact that you slated yourself in the center of the frame, and then when you started the scene, you were off center in the frame, which is exactly right. Being off center in the frame or asymmetrical in the frame, and then looking across the lens of the camera into the area where there is more space is exactly right, and you did that extraordinarily well. I liked it a lot. Now, I don't want to get too bogged down into the details here, but I will say that the dress that you were wearing, it drew me a little bit away from watching you. As an item of clothing, it was lovely. The dress looks very, very nice on you. So nothing at all about the dress itself, but on video, you really might want to consider solid colors on some of your auditions. Whenever there's a pattern, you're just running the risk of taking some attention out of watching you. Now, I'm being a little nitpicky here. And the reason I'm being nitpicky is that the audition was really, really good. So if I can help you get over some of those little technical areas, I think ultimately you'll have an excellent, excellent audition piece. Now, let's talk about some of those acting moments. What I really liked is your presence on camera. I really liked your energy. I really liked the formality that you gave the character. I thought that was really, really helpful. Here's a great, and I don't want to call it a trick, but it comes across as sounding like a trick. But I am a big fan of prior action. And prior action literally is the beat before you start talking. So what you did is you shifted from the slate. I would rather have the slate be a separate piece. And then when you start your character, give me a beat in character as if you were walking into the store and you saw that person and then you made a decision, oh, I'm going to talk to this person. Whatever it is, you're not saying anything, but you're giving me an indication of your intention before you actually start the scene. I think the next thing that would be of value to share with you is what I call gear changes. And that is something I think that there were a couple of missed opportunities in the work. For example, in the script you have, I'm talking, and there you just walked away. You literally acknowledge that this person is not interested in talking to you. I think that there is something there that I would have loved to have seen more of. And when I talk about gear changes, I mean when something shifts in the scene, such as that moment. I think you need to let me know that something has shifted in you as well. Now, gear changes, and I've done some podcasts on these, but gear changes basically, literally is a technical way of adjusting that moment in the scene by either changing your pitch, adjusting your pace, or perhaps giving an additional pause or beat. Pitch, pace, and pause are really great technical things that you can do with your acting, especially when you want to make a shift in what's taking place. So you're talking, and there you are just walking away. Of course, don't do it like I do it, but the idea is I changed my pace and I gave a little bit of a beat there. And so when you can do pitch, pace, and pause on some of those moments, the clarity of that scene actually embellishes, I think, the humor in a really, really solid way. I love the fact that you didn't take a full exit, that you did a false exit, but you didn't go completely off screen. And I think this is an excellent note. Whenever I see an actor who completely leaves the frame of the shot or comes back in after leaving a false exit, whatever, please be careful not to leave completely, literally. Stay in the frame. That way the energy and turning back, if it's a false exit, for example, that is really keeping me interested. The minute you leave the frame, it's sort of a harsh reality that I'm watching an actor in a video, as opposed to keeping that moment alive, keeping the energy of that moment alive by staying in the frame. So be careful not to exit. Finally, I would just want to give you a couple of other things to think about, because I think you did the scene well. I think you understood the character well. But I also want to just remind you that even though you might not be speaking when the other character is talking, you still need to be processing what's happening. You still need to feel, emotionally connect, process the information, and I need to see you reacting. Now, I'm not talking about over-the-top stuff. I'm talking about like human being stuff. There's this tendency to think that because the other person is talking doesn't mean that you are not experiencing something. So I need you to be experiencing something throughout the entire video. So, with that said, the energy is excellent. It's an excellent scene for you. Although I felt it was slightly rushed. I loved the appropriate way in which you approached this character. So what I'm giving you are just some, little tiny tweaks to think about. Other than that, I really like your work very, very much. And I appreciate so much the fact that you sent this material in to get evaluated on our podcast. So thank you for that. So what did you think? What did you think about the feedback? I try to be positive and helpful, but I also really want to make sure that I'm giving information that can really be something you can build on. And in this case, YI QING ZHAO, I really wanted to make sure she got some information that she could continue to grow. Because after all, in the times that we are in, and knowing that we have to really do the best we can with our self-submit videos, with our actor videos, we should continue to try and exercise that muscle so that it puts us in the best possible place, and not sitting back and not just kind of putting it on cruise control. You know what cruise control is when you're driving your car. It says, okay, I'm going to set it at 60 miles an hour. I'm just going to go now. You don't want to get complacent. You don't want to get, sit back. I love the fact that actors are setting themselves up really technically, really, really well, because that gives them even more time after they know what their setup is looking like. They have the default setting of their setup, but now they have the time to spend on acting choices. It's the specific choices that you make in your acting that make it unique. And the bottom line there is that it is your uniqueness that makes it work. It's your uniqueness that is going to book you the job. So that's all I have for today at Casting Actors Cast. Listen, feel free to write me if you have any questions, if you'd like to get your video evaluated, because we're going to continue to do these as long as there's interest. Please, another reminder, if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing, please go ahead, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. It really means so much to me that you are spending time and working with other actors in this environment to perfect your acting skills and your acting as a profession. Thank you so much. I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach, and this is Casting Actors Cast.
Casting Actors Cast is made possible with your support just by listening. Please like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.